The Omen series is probably one of the most popular horror films of all time, and now the A&E Network has a brand new series called Damien, which explores the Antichrist in his 30s.
Until he is defeated by the returned Christ during the Last Judgment.
The Antichrist.
That word is never actually used in Revelation. But the early church fathers believed that the beast and the Antichrist are the same.
And starring as the Antichrist is none other than Bradley James, who joins us right now. Hi, Bradley. Greetings from Las Vegas.
Hello, Jeff.
Have you been to Las Vegas before?
I have, yes. I experienced the antithesis of the experience that they had on The Hangover.
All right, Bradley, I got to tell you my Omen story right up front. When I was a kid, when I was 11 or 12 years old, I looked just like Damien. I mean, they called me Damien. I had coal black hair, blue eyes. We went to church a lot, but I was Damien.
Wow. What a what an upbringing you must have had. That's a tortured soul you must have inside there, Jeff.
Well, you know, it also didn't help that the last 3 digits of my birthday were 666. So...
So you've had it rough.
Don't worry, I loved every minute of it. Now, your new show, Damien, we find the Antichrist now has been updated for the 21st century. Where do we find him now? What's he up to?
He's on the run. He's on the run from himself. He's been surrounded by the darkness, I guess, of being the Antichrist without knowing that's what he is. He's unaware that he's the Antichrist, and so he's chosen a profession that surrounds himself with pain, essentially, to try and escape his own. You know, the noises of pain around him are louder than his own, then you know, it sort of drowns it out somewhat. So he's become a war photographer, and we join him at a time when those painful noises can no longer be drowned out by you know, the pain of the areas of conflict that he regularly visits.
So being the Antichrist, he has a lot of minions around him. Like that old lady that touched you and her eyes rolled back. That was really creepy.
It's all for you. Filius meus delectus ucri.
Yeah, and that, I suppose, is the noise I mentioned. That these weird instances where, you know, they sort of don't happen to the rest of us quite so regularly. But there's certainly an indication that you know, Damian's in for a much rougher ride than you know, your average bear.
So it's safe to say the arc of the series is Damien is like coming into himself, that he's slowly discovering his destiny.
Yeah, very much so. In terms of you know, one of the exciting aspects of the script is going on that discovery with a man who is slowly realizing that he is the Antichrist. I mean, you know, take that on board for a second, as though, you know, that were you. And I think that's what the show does. I think it sort of asks questions of the audience, who will hopefully be honest with themselves when they you know, try and find the answers to what they would do in the same situation that Damien's been put in. They will probably find that if they're honest, the answers aren't quite so black and white.
It couldn't have been easy for you. Expelled from school after school. Preston, Exeter, Oxford. You'd think those people would be more forgiving to a boy so obviously gifted.
Now, Damien needs his protectors, and I can't think of anyone more beautiful or more talented than Barbara Hershey.
Yeah, it's not a bad way to go, to have Barbara on your side, you know, in such a situation, and in terms of working with her, the enjoyment of that experience is very high. She's I sort of waxed lyrical for a while about Barbara. I'll save you that, but you know, just to say that she's terrific. And I think in terms of her character, she becomes a somewhat of a guiding light for Damien, as much as he would try to resist it, she becomes very much a voice of truth for him.
So there's a lot of attention attached to this role. There's a lot of Christians in this country that take this very seriously. Did you have any second thoughts on accepting the role of the Antichrist and Damien?
Well, fortunately for myself, I'm, as you can possibly tell by my accent, I'm English. We certainly aren't into religion as much as people in the States. So there's not quite as much of a hang-up with it. I think it would possibly be a tougher decision for someone who was much more invested. But we're quite a cynical breed, us English, so we don't quite have the reservations didn't come up quite as much as they would have done if I had perhaps been brought up over here.
Now, it wouldn't be Damien unless we had some good old-fashioned devil dogs. Are there devil dogs in this series?
We certainly do. Scary isn't quite the word for them. I love dogs, and I tend to get on quite well with them. And we, have sort of multiple Rottweilers turning up, and of course, naturally, you'd find me sort of wrestling with them, playing with them, and they'd be like, Bradley, come on, we need them to sort of growl and look aggressive and scare people. And they were completely opposite. They, would lick you to death at best. But in terms of like their presence in the show, the way, they're probably put in the best performance in the entire thing. They are very creepy and play quite a prominent role in the show.
All right, Bradley, you have some big shoes to fill. There's a long history and legacy of the Omen films, legions of fans out there, including myself.
Thank you. We hope to do some justice for that audience. Looking forward to their reaction.
All right, Bradley, good luck with the series, and thanks for talking to me.
Thanks, Jeff.
All right, make sure you check out Damien with Bradley James on the A&E Network. And if you like what you see here, surf on over to my website at vegasfilmcritic.com. And also, comment below, subscribe, thumbs up. I'm Jeffrey K. Howard. Thanks for watching.